Hey everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nicole Moran. I'm director of Team Say Yes to the Scents. I started Scentsy in 2019 for the love of products, obviously, and just kind of hung around since then. So there's not much of a nice story there, but here I am. I was asked a question. That question was if I could speak like on the spot for 30 minutes about a topic, what topic would that be? And mine is hands down mental health, 1,000,000% mental health. I'm a huge believer in mental health, and I believe 100% that it fuels everything we do, everything that we perceive, everything that drives decision making is up here, perception is up here, emotions are up here. All the chemicals and all of the cognitive functions are all starting here, and that is what makes our bodies run, right? So this is just makes sense that this is the thing to look at. The root of it all is what starts up here, okay? So probably not gonna hear me talk about too much about Scentsy, to be honest, but I promise it literally has everything to do with it. Because once up here is healthy and right, you guys can take on the whole entire freaking world, I promise. Okay. Before I start any of that, though, I do have a disclaimer. There's going to be things that I talk about in here, and I already know, I hope nobody on this page struggles with this, but the reality, unfortunately, of it is that there are mental illnesses, and there are things there that need more, need more help than just these little things, and that's not to like make you feel weird, and it's not to make you feel like a failure or that there's something wrong with you, but I just don't want anyone to see this and be like, oh, I can cure this past trauma with like a glass of water. You know what I'm saying? Like, while a lot of this stuff will improve a lot of things, there are chemical imbalances, and there is childhood trauma, and there is abuse, and there is a lot of things that people go through that need more assistance. Okay, so my first thing, there's my disclaimer, is that this whatever I talk about in here is not a one-size-fits-all thing. This is just from my experience and just things that I've learned and what has worked for me, and what I believe. But mental health is such an in-depth, complex thing that things cannot possibly be a one-size-fits-all for anybody, okay? But maybe if you do struggle with those things that are a little bit deeper, maybe you can get some ideas from here that can at least help you in that direction. Number one, I have why is it important? Why is mental health important? First of all, it contributes to your physical well-being, okay? It contributes to your social life, your productivity, your routines, and all of that stuff. Like your social, like think about that. Like that's how you meet your customers, okay? Your productivity, how you're going to be able to pass out samples and market your business and all that stuff. Your physical well-being, your immune system can be affected. If things aren't right up here, it affects everything, okay? And if you're not feeling good physically, you're not going to be able to get up and do the things you need to do. So yeah, it's all connected. It's all connected. It also determines your cognitive ability, believe it or not. It determines how you handle stress. It influences your decision making. All of that stuff is hugely important, not just for Scentsy. I'll talk about it for Scentsy because that's why you guys are here, but it affects your whole life. It affects everything. And it plays a huge role in relationships, the people in your life that you need for support, your friends, your spouse, your parents, your brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, whoever is in your life, your customers. It influences how you form relationships and how your role in them. So mental health is literally connected to everything. Hold on, I hear a kid coming. Hold on. Okay. So one last thing I'm going to say with my intro before I jump into it is that mental health is so much more than just being free from mental illness. So I don't want anyone to sit and think, oh, I've got mental health because I've never been diagnosed with mental illness, okay? Mental illness and mental health, they are connected, but you could have poor mental health without the mental illness, okay? Which is a huge thing that people don't realize. There's not enough awareness, I feel, in this topic, and people just don't thrive in life because of the lack of knowledge in that. All right, so mental health check, okay? This is where I start. So I like doing it for myself. I like doing it for my husband, my kids. Honestly, it's more of like a habit thing now. I don't like sit down and be like, okay, let's do our mental health check. Like, It's not all that organized. Like, kudos to you if you are, but I'm just not. You just pay attention to yourself. That's really all you need to do, is pay attention to yourself and be honest with yourself, okay? So the first thing I do when I'm checking up on my mental health is pay attention to how I'm feeling. That's like the easiest thing to do. Most of us can acknowledge what we're feeling and our emotion at the time, okay? Now here's the thing with that, is that emotions are simply a side effect of how we're processing and perceiving things, okay? What we're doing with our thoughts inside of our head, how we're perceiving the world around us and situations and conversations and events and things like that, that is going to trigger certain emotions, okay? Emotions are just a side effect of that. So don't feel bad about your emotions. Your emotion itself is not a bad thing. That is something that you've got to just accept right this minute, because I've come from a generation, if you're a millennial, you know what, I think this goes across the board basically. We've always been told, oh no, you're fine, stop, it's nothing, you're okay, they're just this, it's just that, it's just who they are, it's just, you know, you're tough, you're not scared. And some of that, yeah, do we need a little push in the butt? Sure, sometimes, but for the majority of the time, like, I need you to recognize your true emotion that you have, because it's trying to tell you something. And if you're gaslighting the heck out of yourself and saying that you're not feeling what you're feeling, you're not going to get anywhere with that. You're not going to figure yourself out at all, because you don't even know what the problem is, because you're telling yourself you're not feeling what you're feeling and trying to make yourself, and we believe ourselves, dude. Like, we believe ourselves. That's why people stay in situations that have millions of red flags from the beginning, because we try to tell ourselves that's not what we're seeing, that's not what we're feeling, that gut feeling, just swallow it, push it down, stick a donut on top of it, like, keep moving. That's not, you guys need to recognize your emotions and be honest with yourself, okay? I'm gonna stop there because I will continue on about that. That's the first thing you need to do, is recognize what you are feeling, okay? It is just a side effect of how you're perceiving things, okay? If there's always a storm on the inside, there might be some stuff going on that you might need to look at, okay? The second thing I like to do is look at my surroundings, okay? This is a gray area. Listen, okay, listen. Okay, because what I'm gonna say might not come out exactly how I mean it, okay? If your surroundings, okay, your body, the physical way you look, I'm not talking about getting your hair done, your nails done, your makeup done, moisturized, facial, not dressed up, all that stuff. But if you are not clean and you haven't been clean for days, okay, if you haven't brushed your teeth for days, don't feel shame. Please, first of all, don't feel shame. I've been there. I've been under the thumb of depression. I've been crippled by it. I know what it's like to not shower for several days because I'm so exhausted from the mental load and the storm going on inside of me. I know what that is like. I know what it's like, okay? Don't feel shame, okay? It's just something that is alerting us that our mental health is struggling and we need to figure out what's going on so that we can fix it, okay? Look at yourself, okay? Are you a mess? Are you a mess? And I'm not talking about being pampered. Again, I'm not talking about being pampered. I'm talking about just basic needs for our physical bodies, okay? Are we emotionally eating or emotionally avoiding food? Are the surroundings around us chaotic and messy all the time? If you are a mother, okay, I believe our mental health is gonna be a little on the rocks, you know, for a while, but because things are just always chaotic. If there's a mess around you all the time, okay, a mess does not mean is not a direct reflection of what is going on the inside of your head, okay? But if it's always like that and it's affecting you to the point where, you know, the clutter is causing your mind to hurt, or you can't find clean clothes. You never have clean clothes because the laundry is so backed up. You can never find a clean cup to put water in to drink. Anything you need is never readily available. It's literally like that half the time in our house, okay? So this is why I'm saying it's a gray area, because I'm as happy as a clam right now and things are just messy because of other things, okay? So this is why it's important to do all of these mental checks when you're checking on yourself, because how you feel plays a part of that, okay? If things are just a mess and you're cool with it, fine. Okay, that's fine. But if the mess is just contributing and keeping you on the hamster wheel of like depression and stuff like that, then that's when it's a problem. You know, procrastinating is a huge thing, okay? And that is mostly what I mean when I mean things are messy and chaotic. Have you procrastinated, and that's why it's like that. And you have to be honest with yourself, and a lot of us tell ourselves we don't have time, because it's easier to say we don't have time than to take a deeper look at it and to take responsibility, or to say it's our mental health or it's something else that's keeping me from keeping up. All of those things that we told ourselves we didn't have time to do might be true. Some of us just really have those hectic schedules. It's easier to say we don't have time, okay, when things are like that. But this is where you need to be honest with yourself. Did you have time to scroll through Facebook? Did you have time to scroll through TikTok? Did you have time to watch a movie? Okay. If you did have time to do that stuff, but you are saying you didn't have time to do the things that you're responsible for that helps your life, then there is a very light, that is not to shame you. I shamed myself for so long about that when I procrastinated, but a procrastination is literally connected up here, okay? It's literally just one more little sign or side effect of mental health not being where it should be, okay? So please, if you have neglected yourself, if you've neglected your home, if you've neglected your responsibilities, but you've been able to be on Facebook or TikTok, I'm not shaming you. I know what it's like. You sometimes just need to mindlessly scroll so that way you can escape your head for a second, and I get it. I know what it's like, I promise. So I'm not shaming you. But you need to see that. You need to see that you did have time, it just didn't get done. And the reason why you need to see it is because you need to make the connection that something upstairs is not right, and we need to fix the root of the problem. And I mean that wholeheartedly, and all of it is coming with love. I promise. It's because I have a heart for this. It's because this is my passion in life. It's because I've had to pull myself out of it. It's because I've had to pull my husband out of it. It's because so many people in our families do this, okay? And it's just part of it. It's all meant with love, never to shame you, ever. And I never want you guys to shame yourselves, okay? Anyway, so yes, procrastination, all of that stuff is a contributing factor, and it is something that we need to look at when we are assessing our mental health, okay? 2 more quick points that I'm gonna make with our mental health check, and then I'm gonna talk about how to fix it, okay? The next point is hold on. So, the other thing that I like to do when I'm assessing my mental health is pay attention to how I feel or respond to other people and situations and interactions, okay? A few examples of that is, one is so easy to use my kids as an example. Lord help them. I love them so much. I do. When I am interacting with them, okay, and my mental health is not where it should be, okay, and when my self-care is down and all of that good stuff, I'm not going to be a patient mom. I'm just not going to be a patient mom. I'm not going to be the Mary Poppins mama who sings songs and like bake bread and stuff. Like, I'm just not going to be that when I'm not like that anyway. Who am I? Anyway, you're definitely not going to be like that when your mental health is not there, okay? So pay attention, but not just your kids. If you don't have kids, okay? Can I come sleep over? I'm just kidding. Okay. Other things, okay? How do you respond to your partner? How do you respond to your friends, your parents? This one is even better, because when we're with people we love, it's easier to pretend that we are not feeling what we're feeling, okay? And it's easier for us to paint a pretty mask on our face and to not let people know, okay? Some of us have really, really good poker faces. So I'm not talking about that. Think about like when you go through a drive-through, okay? And you ordered a cheeseburger without tomato on it, and you get it, you start driving down the road, you open up your burger, it's got a freaking tomato, okay? What do you feel inside? What do you feel inside for a tomato? How does that tomato on your burger make you? Does it piss you off? You get pissed off, overly pissed off because of a tomato on your sandwich, okay? Do you pick it off and just eat it and not think twice about it? Or does a storm start inside of your body over that tomato? Even if it's not just a tomato that you could pick off, what if it's like completely different order, that you're allergic to a pickle and they put a pickle on it and now everything's contaminated with a pickle and you can't eat it, okay? Do you put on your armor, okay, and drive back to that place and bust up through the doors ready to punch someone in the face because they stuck a freaking pickle on your cheeseburger and they should have known better and you said no pickle and you're gonna punch them in the face? If you feel that inside, there's a problem. There's a problem, okay? And again, don't shame yourself. It's just a side effect letting you know that there's other things that are not taken care of. You're not taken care of when we get that angry about something. And yes, that could be a huge inconvenience, okay? It really can. You know, it can, okay? And sometimes the people just aren't paying attention. They're texting their boyfriend while they're doing something and they're not putting the order in right. You know, sometimes, yeah, it is annoying, okay? But that should be the extent of it. It should, all right, I gotta go back, you know, but that should be it. That should be the end of the emotion. It shouldn't be raging. You shouldn't feel your heart rate getting up. You shouldn't feel hot in your face and your body and anger. You shouldn't feel like that over something so small. It's just not logical, okay? If a friend told you this story and they said, best friend, I asked for no pickle and they stuck a pickle on my sandwich, okay? You would not be angry about, like, your soul would not be angry about it because it didn't happen to you. You know what I mean? Somebody else did it. It would be like, okay, they put a pickle on it. It's okay, calm down. Like, you're overreacting. It's easy to tell someone else that when you hear them overreacting about something small. But when you are in the situation yourself and you're feeling it yourself, you got to pay attention to that, okay? You have to pay attention, like, whoa, this is a pickle. Calm down, Nicole. Like, it's a pickle. It's a pickle. Someone made a mistake. It's okay. Like, we're just gonna go get it fixed. It's annoying to have to drive back. Gas is like $30 a gallon. Let's go. You know, this is aggravating, but it's just a pickle, and it should end right there. Some people take those little inconveniences all day long, and that anger brews and builds inside of them. And those are signs that things are not as healthy as they should be upstairs. Same with, you know, road rage. I have road rage. I do. I'm working on it. But, you know, I've watched too many scary movies to ever, like, you know, do anything or slam on brakes or, you know, be a jerk about it. And I've also got kids in the car, so I got to be careful with what I say. But, like, trust me, when I say the F-bombs are thrown around inside of my head. They are thrown around. I am no saint. That is a trigger for me, and I hope that I can work through that one day. Okay, so the very last thing that I check when I'm checking my mental health is think about how you get things done, okay? This kind of goes back a step to the procrastination part, which I should have worked in. But think about how you get things done. Once again, this alone does not, you know, directly reflect what's going on in your mind, but it does contribute to it, okay? So, some of us have busy schedules. We have chaos going on that we can't quite control right now, and that's just the season of our life we're in. But sometimes, you know, think about, when I say how you get things done, I mean, like, if you're in school and you have a paper due, you know, or if you told someone you would get some samples out to them, but you haven't made it yet, or you told someone you'd place an order, but you haven't made it yet, and you are, you've got responsibilities to do, okay? Whether it's in your Scentsy business or other life, and you put them off to the last minute, okay? If you put them off to the last minute, if you are always rushing, if you're falling short, if you're not making deadlines, okay, that you need to make. There was some of this in boot camp, okay? Remember, for those of you guys who took Laura's boot camp, if you didn't meet a deadline, you got booted out because it's boot camp. It's something that we signed up for. Like, and I get it. Things happen that are out of our control, okay? So I'm not talking about those situations. I'm talking about if your life is constantly like this, where there is not one thing that you can get on time for nothing. You cannot arrive on time to work, to school, to wherever you got to be. Nothing is ever on time. And then when you do turn it in, what does that work look like? Is that your best work, or is it messy and half-tailed? What does it look like? Did you just throw something together without putting your thought into it because you waited so long? Once again, certain lifestyles, certain seasons of our lives, certain situations will alter this. I'm talking if this has always been your life, like, is this always you? One other thing that I'm going to say about that specific thing, just because I am ADD and I've learned this about myself through some stuff. If you're ADD, you purposely put stuff off, by the way. Like, I don't know if you guys know that, but when if you truly have ADD, people with ADD thrive off of making their lives difficult. So, congratulations. You're in my boat. Okay, so we had, just for note's sake, how do you feel? Mental health check, mental health check. How do you feel? Okay. How do you, what does your surroundings look like? And what does it typically look like? Okay. Including your physical body and your well-being. Okay. Not talking about weight, not talking, actually, you know what? Factor that in too. Okay. Because if you are emotionally eating or not eating, you're either going to gain or lose weight. And it's not about the looks. It's about how you feel. It's about how you feel, because skinny doesn't mean healthy. It doesn't. Okay. So I will not say anything about the look part at all. That means absolutely nothing to me. It's about how you feel. If you know that you feel like crap because you've been feeding your body the wrong things, then that's what you're going to be able to give out into the world. And all of that affects your mental health. I'm going to take a very quick side road really fast just to let you know that a lot of ingredients in our food literally alter the chemicals in our brains and brain receptors. So don't think for 1 second that that has nothing to do with your mental health, okay? And it's not just a small part either. Sugar, for example, triggers the same brain receptors as, I believe it's heroin, okay? It's either heroin or meth, but either way, it ain't good. It's not a good receptor. We're not. So think about that, like what you eat or don't eat when you are deficient in vitamins and when you are deficient in nutrition, all of that stuff affects everything. Okay. So yes, pay attention to that as well. Dang it. I went all sidetracked. All right. I'm going to start. This is the last time I'm going to say it one more time. Okay. One more time. Y'all are never going to watch another one of my videos, by the way. I'm so sorry. How do you feel? Look around you and at yourself. Okay. How do you respond to people and situations? Okay, whether it's in your head or out loud, okay? Think about how you get things done, okay? And what the end result looks like, okay? Shut up, Nicole. Okay, how to fix it. All right, I've got 4 points for how to fix it. Obviously, there's so much more than that. But these are the things that I did when I was fixing myself. These are the things that I feel are some of the top things that you should start with. None of these include doctor's visits, therapy, and hormone replacement stuff, medicines, depression medicines and stuff. Again, like at the beginning of my video, when I said some of the things that I say are not going to be the fixes for you and you may need something else, okay? So when I say how to fix it, please, like these things are great to add, but if your mental health involves a mental illness, there will be other things that you will need to do and people that you will need to see for help with that, okay? All right, number 1, remove the triggers. Unfollow the negativity, okay? Before I started Scentsy, I did not have social media. I had deleted it, okay? Because it triggered me. When I was going through my mental stuff, it triggered the heck out of me. I could not see what people were doing. It made me shame the hell out of myself, guys. Like, and none of that helped me. It only made it worse. So I had to remove it. I removed it. You guys are in the Scentsy business. A lot of you guys market your stuff and work through your social media pages. Your mental health is still more important than that. So if you need to figure out another way to communicate with your people, like group text messages, emails, through the workstation, however it is you need to communicate with your people and keep up with your team, you can find other ways to do that. Facebook is not the only way that you can, social media is not the only way that you can be successful at this business. So if it is that severe and you really need a break, you take your break and figure out the other stuff, okay? However, if you don't want to delete all of your stuff, if you do a lot of your stuff through social media and you're not interested in changing that, Facebook has a beautiful unfollow button, okay? So even your customers that you can't really delete or unfriend or block because they buy from you, but you're like, dude, you're stressing me the heck out, you can simply unfollow them. They will still see all of your stuff. They can still message you. Just unfollow them, but you have to remove the triggers, and that's just with social media. Sometimes there's people in your life that you got to shake off, okay? That's a whole separate topic. I will not go down that road right now just for the sake of this video and time. you got to remove your triggers, okay? If junk is your trigger, make the next off day you have a priority to remove the junk from your home, whatever the triggers are. Now, there are triggers you can't remove, okay? My kids trigger me, okay? And I can't really put them back where they came from. I also can't return them for store credit, like they're mine. No refunds, okay? I love them. I wouldn't do that anyway, but God knows they trigger me, and I can't really remove those triggers, right? You can't. We can be our own trigger. There's things that we were taught that have formed our brains since we were little. We could be our own trigger. Our bad habits could be our trigger, okay? You can't really remove yourself, but you have to figure out how to manage the things you can't remove. So my second point was fill your life with either reminders that you need to be checking in with your mental health, or fill your life with the things that are going to make you think, make you reevaluate things, okay? Give you tips on how to better manage stuff, all right? So parenting things. When I need help, I have a question, I go digging. I literally pull up Google. I wish y'all could see my stinking Google history. It's ridiculous. I ask so many questions all the time. You know, of course, at your own discretion, side note, whatever, okay? Don't believe everything you see on the internet, okay? Make sure it's credible. But fill your feed, and anything that you take in and consume on a regular basis especially through social media, make it remind you about your mental health, make it challenge you to work on something, make it help you see lifestyle changes that you need to change, make it something that is going to benefit you, okay? Fill it with positivity. Remove the triggers, fill it with positivity, okay? If you need help with your kids because they're stressing you out, you literally can search how to make parenting peaceful, okay? And you'll find tips and tricks and people who've done it and inspiration and things. That's just with one thing, okay? If you can't stay organized, okay? If your time management sucks and you're your own trigger because you yourself cannot figure out how to manage your time well, search it, follow people. It will always pull up on your stuff, okay? I follow so many ADHD accounts because that's who I am, and Lord knows it comes with struggles. It's a blessing, but it also comes with a lot of struggles, and that is filled with random things that I discover, and fill your life with that stuff. The next point, self-care, okay? And when I say self-care, I do mean take a shower, but I don't mean, I don't necessarily mean like a spa day and a trip to Target, okay? While that is amazing self-care, and like, can I come? If y'all do that, can I come? Like, I'll give you my phone number. But that's not just what I mean, okay? I mean like sleep, okay? Small things like that, even down to how much water you drink, affects you mentally so much. There's just not enough awareness and education on this, as I feel there should be, because there's a lot of things that people are struggling with that are completely unnecessary. So just focus on that stuff. Self-care, sleep, vitamins. When is the last time you went and had your blood drawn and asked the doctor to check to see if you had any vitamin deficiencies? You know, that plays a huge role in your mental health, okay? It plays a huge role in your health in general, but there are some vitamins directly connected to your mental health, like B vitamins. There's crap ton of B vitamins, tons of them, okay? I don't know which all ones do what or whatever, but anyway. You know, if you're deficient in vitamins, it can make other parts of your body not feel good. When other parts of your body don't feel good, that makes up here not feel good either. It's all connected. So if you don't have the time or the money to go get your blood drawn and get your vitamins checked and your hormones checked, that's another one. If you know you don't take any vitamins at all, start researching this stuff. Start researching. I will always say it's best to check with your doctor as well, because certain things you can't mix with other things. You can, even if a vitamin is good, you can get too much of something and it can make you feel bad and sick and stuff. So always check and make sure. But vitamins, okay, something as small as a vitamin. That's it. Now, one thing I'm going to say about that too is don't do one small half-tailed Google search. Be specific. Google will tell you stuff, all right? They'll tell you stuff. Again, credible sources. Remember that, please. But like if you look up vitamins and you're like, I need energy. What vitamins give me energy? Okay. And they say vitamin whatever. Don't just run to the store and grab that one thing. Okay. If you're going to take the time to look into your mental health and try to fix it, okay, and research specific things, make it worth it, dude. Like, don't just go and half-tail your research. Look into it. Look into it. There are certain vitamins that are crap. It's just money makers because there's greedy people out there who don't give a crap about your health and your vitamins. So they're going to sell stuff that doesn't really work. Research this stuff. Figure out what vitamins absorb better in your body. Which vitamins were third-party tested to that work really well. Which vitamins have the best reviews. Which vitamins are, what time of day do I need to take the vitamin? What do I need to take with the vitamin to make it more effective? If you're going to research and you're going to take the time to look in your mental health, make it effective, make it worth it, go all the way, be thorough with it. Do it. If you're going to do it all the way, okay? Don't half-tail it. Hormones, I know I touched on that a second ago. Go get your blood drawn, check your hormones, make sure your thyroid's working okay. Do you know that little tiny gland or whatever the crap it is in your neck? She's okay. She's just like playing really extremely loud by herself. You know that little thing in your neck can control so much about you? Like, it is insane. Do the research. It's crazy. All right. So that's what I mean by self-care. All right. Foods. Look up which foods directly affect your mental health. Avoid them if they're bad. Feed yourself the ones that are good. Okay. If you really cannot stomach some of the disgusting kale tree bark crap that is on the market for your health, okay, figure out what vitamins that are in there that are doing that, and you can do vitamins, okay? Anyway, and then the last point that I have for that is constantly remind yourself to check up on these things. Practice it, okay? Don't just do this one time, take these notes, fold it up, and forget about it. Make it a habit, because when you make this a habit every single day to pay attention to how you feel every single day, you will start connecting the dots. And when you practice it, you will make connections, and certain connections will help you make other connections. It is a puzzle. You are the only one that can solve it. Don't go to the doctor and say, I need energy. They're going to give you some basic, generic, whatever, okay? It's going to be ultimately, that might help, okay? It's going to be ultimately up to you, because you are the only one that can pay attention to when you have energy. You're the only one that can pay attention to what makes you happy, what makes you sad. That doctor's not following you home and checking all your relationships to make sure nobody's toxic, and make sure you're not spending too much time on this, and make sure you're not drinking gallons of soda every day, and make sure that you're not like, you know what I mean? They're not going to follow you home and check all of that. They can only give you one tiny little piece of the puzzle, maybe, okay? It's going to be up to you to learn yourself, learn your triggers, learn what makes you thrive, pinpoint, take notes about yourself. When are you your most productive? When are you your happiest? When are you your angriest? Like, what leads up to that outburst that you wanted to tuck in and keep in there? Are you not being honest about your emotions? Are you gaslighting yourself? There's so many factors. Those are the ones that I feel are most important. One thing that I am going to leave you with is, this is what directly helped me. This is not a physical fix. I don't know. It's more of a therapy fix, I guess. But one is that I'm going to tell you what helped me in a second. But, I don't know what you guys believe in. There is a spiritual side to most people. Most people believe that there is a greater purpose for their life. And, whatever that is in your life, you've got to remind yourself of that, because it is not, the greater purpose of your life is not to make sure that people do their job at the fast food restaurant to make sure they don't put a pickle on your sandwich. That is not what you were here for. There is no need for you to get that worked up about the pickle. Well, what's the bigger purpose? Okay, hang on. Okay. A lot of us need just our perspective to change, okay? And a reminder of our perspective. So, if it's been a while since you've been in touch with that spiritual part of you, whether it's God, whether it's something else, if it's been a while since you've connected, you need to reconnect. That's a huge part of it, because you need to know why you're even here. Like, what the heck are we even doing? Because I know darn well that my life means more than just being stressed out and picking up the same freaking toys all the time and yelling at the same people all the time to listen to me. And I mean, I know there's more to life, my life than that. I know there's a bigger purpose. And if all else fails, that usually does it for me, is remembering, okay, I'm not here because of this. I'm here because of something else. Remembering that, remembering my why I'm doing this. Why are you doing this? You know, I don't know if you guys have, I'm sure you have, you know, when I say that there's a person that we've all wanted to be, I don't mean a profession. I don't mean, you know, a character. But there's a vision, at least in my head as a child and now, of the type of person I've wanted to be, okay? And that might not be super clear to a lot of people, but has there ever been a time in your life where you've met someone or watched a movie and the personality of that character on TV or in the movie, or the personality of your third grade teacher, the personality of your grandfather, the personality of, I don't know, a celebrity who does great things for the world, or contributes or has a good heart, or just, has there ever been a person whose personality just makes you starstruck? I want to be that person. I want to be that positive. I want to make a difference. I want to do this. Because that will fuel your why. That will fuel your why. Again, if you are in your depression, like, that might not be that important to you right now, because things are fuzzy. But you've got to remember that. No, I want to be this person. I want to be positive. I want to make a difference in the world. I want to not be prideful. I want to be able to, whatever it is. You got to remember that, because the time that's ticking is time that you need to be using to figure this out so that you can be that person. What got me out of my crippling depression, there was a time that I wouldn't pick up a sock on the floor. Okay. You know, you guys may not know what that kind of depression is like, and I'm so thankful you guys don't. I really am thankful if you guys don't know what that's like, and if you do know what it's like, I'm sorry. If you're dealing with it now, I'm sorry, and I'm praying for you. But there was a time that my depression crippled me so much to where I could not bend my body over to pick up a sock. It wasn't because I wasn't physically able. It's the way your mind works. You guys may have no idea what I'm talking about. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't shower. I couldn't do anything like that. But when my oldest was about 2 years old, something clicked in me, and all I did was remind myself of her. Every single time I saw a responsibility that I needed to do, I didn't have perfection in mind. I didn't tell myself those things to shame myself. I didn't tell myself those things to become OCD, where everything had to be perfect. But every time I knew I had to do something, even down to showering, I would tell myself, Layla deserves a clean mom. Layla deserves to be taught what taking care of yourself looks like. And I kept thinking, you know what? I don't want her. She's watching me. She's watching me do this stuff. She's in her head thinking it's normal to not. At 2 years old, she ain't thinking crap, okay? But they will. They're going to learn from us. And it was like a knife through my heart to think that my child experiencing secondhand my depression and learning from that killed me. And I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I could not pick up that sock. It gave me a fire that nothing else had ever done, which made a big snowball into my mental health journey. That's what you guys need to do. Who deserves it? You deserve it. I deserved it. At the time, I didn't matter to myself, but she did. And that's what I was. So who in your life deserves you to do these things? You do it. You deserve it. Okay. But who else? Who else matters so much to you in your life that you want to give so much to? It doesn't have to be a child. Or what about that person that we talked about? What about him or her? You know, you don't want to just forget that. That's not like you. You don't want to just forget about that person. You were made for that person. You were made to be that person. Okay? So believe in that wholeheartedly and recognize and remember, be aware of how much time is ticking. And so that way you stop playing around with your mental health and you recognize your toxic stuff. You recognize your bad habits. You recognize how fuzzy upstairs is, and you do whatever you can to fix it, so much so that you become addicted to bettering yourself and helping others. That's what we're here for, okay? And all of that will pour right on into your business and in every other area of your life. You cannot thrive in life if you never even consider what's going on up here. That's it. That's it in a nutshell, okay? Your Scentsy business will thrive. So will your relationships. Some of them, you'll need to just burn the bridge down, and that's okay because you did it with a sound mind and you did it knowing it's the best for you. Some of those relationships are gonna start being repaired, okay? You're gonna be the best version of yourself, and it's gonna start by mental health, okay? Hopefully this all made sense. Again, I'm not a professional in any way. I did make a quick little video a year or two ago on my YouTube channel. It's kind of cringeworthy to watch like a video of yourself later. But I did touch more onto leading yourself in that one video. So if you guys, you know, want to look more into it and stuff, go on. But yeah, you can message me anytime. I'm at least there to be a listening ear if nothing else. But anyway, love you guys. Hope you got something out of this.